If you love a serial killer thriller, then this video is just for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Carly, and today I thought we'd take a trip to the dark side and chat all about some serial killer thrillers. I have always been obsessed with true crime, serial killer documentaries, and serial killer thrillers have always been my absolute go-to genre. They are always books that I absolutely inhale and I can't put down. And I think because they explore the darker side of the human mind and human actions, I just can't get enough. In this video, there will be a wide range of different serial killer thrillers. Some of them are a little tamer, so perfect if you're just dipping your toe into the genre, and some of them are perfect if you're a more seasoned serial killer reader. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying my content. And yeah, let's take a trip to the dark side, shall we? What perfect way to start a video about serial killer thrillers than with the Chris Carter series. I think I have harped on and on enough about this series, but I can't do a video about serial killer thrillers and not mention it. So this series is a 13-book series, and it follows the lives of Robert Hunter and his partner Garcia. They both work in the ultra-violent crimes unit in LA, and they hunt down the most horrendous serial killers, basically. I have read 10 out of the 13 books. I've got just 3 left to read. And honestly, as a whole, I would recommend this series. There are some that I enjoyed more than others. They can all be read as standalones. So if you don't fancy committing to a whole series, then yeah, you can read them as standalones. I don't know, I've just read them in order because that's the type of person I am. So out of the 10 books that I have read, I would highly recommend The Executioner, which I think is book 2. Oh my God, there is a scene in this book. So these books are so graphic and gory. And Chris Carter, I actually went to see him in May. He actually said that publishers in America won't publish his books because they're too dark. They're too dark and disturbing. So, I mean, if that doesn't say it all, then I don't know what does. But yeah, book 2, The Executioner, there's a scene in this book that will forever live rent-free in my head. And if you have read this book, you will know exactly the scene that I am talking about. It is horrific. Like, oh my God, I was reading this book. You know, like you watch a film behind a cushion or behind your fingers. I was like reading the book like that, like through my fingers, because it was making me wince while I was reading it. But yeah, these books kind of give me like Criminal Minds mixed with Saw vibes. So they have got the gore level of the Saw films, but they've kind of got like the plots are like the Criminal Minds series. So if you like those, which I loved, then you will love these books. I also loved An Evil Mind. It is one of my favorite books in the series. It kind of gave me like Hannibal Lecter vibes. And the main character in it is one of my favorite characters, like in thriller books. So yeah, I highly recommend that one. It's very clever, very dark and twisted. And the other one that I really, really loved, so these ones I all rated 5 stars, was One by One. And this one, oh my God, the killer in this gets the public to vote online, like on a website, to say how the victims die. So yeah, it is like edge of your seat, race against time. Oh, I just love these books so much. Like, I inhale them. I can literally, they're quite chunky books as well. These are books that I can read in one sitting. So yeah, I can't wait to finish the series. I'm hoping to finish the series in the next couple of months, and then I'm going to do an official ranking video for you. Next up, we have got more books that I've previously mentioned. I promise you this whole video isn't just going to be books I've previously mentioned. But again, I couldn't do a serial killer thriller video without mentioning In the Blink of an Eye and Leave No Trace by Joe Callahan. So if you haven't seen my previous videos, then this series is a 3-book series, but I've only read the first 2 books, and it is about a human detective and an AI detective who must work together to solve crimes. So in the first book, In the Blink of an Eye, they work on cold cases, and then in Leave No Trace, they work on a live case. And that live case There is a man found at the top of a mountain. He's been crucified, and yeah, he's not had a very good time. And then another body turns up a couple of days later. So yeah, it all starts escalating really quickly. And I don't know, I just loved the AI aspect of it, especially considering the current times that we live in. It was really interesting to see kind of like the AI versus human detective, because obviously Kat, the human detective, she trusts her human instinct and her gut, and then Locke, who is the AI detective, he literally works off logic and facts only. So yeah, I really recommend these books. I'm hoping to read book 3 this month actually, so I will keep you updated on that. Next up, we have got The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier. So this one is available on Kindle Unlimited. And full disclaimer, not all of these books I have rated highly. So this one I actually rated 3 stars, but I've put it in this video because it is about an extremely unhinged serial killer. And even though I rated it 3 stars, I would still recommend it. So maybe I need to do a video on how I rate my books so that you can understand my kind of logic behind that, because I don't want you thinking I'm a fraud. So this book is really unique in the sense that you find out who the serial killer is at the very start of the book. And the book opens, so you read chapter 1, and as you're reading it, it's kind of like, I don't know, like a normal book, an introduction to the story. And then the end of chapter 1, oh my God, was so unhinged. I was addicted straight away. So this follows the story of a police detective called Edward Shank, who found his fame after he gunned down this notorious serial killer called the Beacon Hill Butcher. Edward is now in his 80s. He is living a quiet, peaceful life in a retirement home, and his grandson Matt has inherited his home, and yeah, all is well until it's not. Matt starts doing some renovation work to the house, and he finds a crate buried in the back garden which holds some of his grandfather's most darkest secrets. And to be honest, all hell breaks loose from there. We have also got a side plot that follows Matt's girlfriend Sam, who is convinced that her mother was one of the victims of this notorious butcher serial killer. And yeah, that is basically the story. And it is very dark and it's very graphic. And like I said, it's just the way it's written and the way the plot kind of unfolds is completely different to any other serial killer thriller that I've read. The only reason I didn't rate it higher is because for me personally, I didn't like knowing who the serial killer was at the beginning. I like a massive plot twist, you know. I like the build up and the tension, and I like being floored by a twist at the end. And it's just personal preference. I just didn't like having that given to me right at the beginning. But if you look at the reviews for this, my book friends as well, so Michaela, Emma Reads Crime, I'm sure they both rated it 5 stars. So there are lots out there that have loved this. And if you do love a serial killer thriller, then I still would highly recommend it. Next up, we have got The House That Held Her by Alice Hart. This is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited. So this one is kind of like a gothic atmospheric thriller, I would say, and it follows the story of Margot. She's bought a house in this quiet town called Mount Dora, hoping for a peaceful life. So yeah, she moves into this house. She's hoping for a fresh start. She's hoping to put the past behind her. But Margot discovers something quite sinister buried beneath the floorboards of the house. I mean, don't they always? But that is the start of Margot's absolute nightmare, to be honest. She starts digging into the history of the house and the people who used to live there. One of the men that used to live there, he was obsessed with creating puzzles and riddles. So you've got the puzzle solving element as well to the book, which I absolutely loved. I found that so unique. There's lots of secrets. It is very dark. I love the setting of the house, the isolated, dark, gothic, creepy setting. There's a box of skulls thrown in there somewhere. It is atmospheric. It is full of suspense. And I had the best time while I was reading it. And do you know what? This is actually the author's debut novel, which I honestly can't believe. Like, it is so well written. And yeah, I highly recommend it. Next up, we have got The Midnight King by Tariq Ashkanani. So again, full disclaimer, this is another one that I think I rated this 3.5 stars. So, I mean, that's not a bad rating by all means, but I feel like you can still recommend a book that hasn't been a 4 or 5 star read. You know what I mean? Like, most of my books that I read are around 3 to 4 stars. So what I will say is this book is very, very dark. And I mean, I think I've probably said this enough on my channel. I absolutely love a dark book. I love a dark thriller book, and I love a dark serial killer thriller book. And this ticked all those boxes. It also has a book within a book element, which is another thing that I absolutely love in books. And it follows the story of Lucas Cole, who is a successful author. He's a father, and he's also a serial killer. His son, Nathan, has known all about his father's secrets since he was a young child. He ran away from home as soon as he was able to, and he has not returned back to the family home until now. So upon Lucas's death, Nathan ends up going back to his childhood home, and there he finds his father's last book, the unwritten manuscript, which, once he starts reading, he discovers is a fictionalized retelling of all of his father's crimes. Not only this, but Nathan also finds this box of souvenirs that his father has kept from all of his victims. And amongst this box of souvenirs, he finds a ribbon which actually belongs to a young girl who has recently been abducted and still hasn't been found. So there's quite a lot going on, and you have got this race against time to try and find this young girl. Nathan needs to try and piece together what is in this manuscript. And yeah, I mean, this book, like I said, is very dark, it's very disturbing, it is extremely unhinged, and I absolutely loved it until the twist. I wasn't fussed on the twist personally. And if I'm being completely honest, I actually thought the ending was a little bit ridiculous, but I would still recommend it just because of how good the rest of the book was. And as well, I know that so many people have actually loved this book. So again, it may just be a personal preference thing. Next up, we have got The Mind of a Murderer by Michael Wood. Now, this is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited. And I actually just want to say, I think Michael Wood is such an underrated author. I have read quite a few of his books and I've absolutely loved them. And this one is dark. So the little tagline on it says something like, the best person to understand a serial killer is one of his victims. And straight away, I was hooked in. So it follows the story of Olivia Winter. She is a forensic psychologist, and her job is to understand the mind of serial killers. But the one mind she can't work out and she cannot understand is that of her father. So her father was a serial killer, and his final masterpiece and showdown, if you will, was to kill her when she was 9 years old, but she survived. We have also got another plot where there's a new serial killer on the block, and the police need Olivia's help to try and profile this killer. But in order to do so, she must confront her demons from the past. Honestly, this book gave me anxiety while I was reading it. My heart was racing. I couldn't put it down. It is extremely underrated. I absolutely loved it. And it is actually book 1 in a series. So I'm really looking forward to carrying on with the rest of the series. Next up, we have got The Puppet Show by M.W. Craven. So this is book 1 of 7 in the Washington Post series. I have previously mentioned this book on my channel, but again, I couldn't make a serial killer thriller video without mentioning this because honestly, it is so good, and it is another one that is very dark and graphic. So it follows the story of Detective Washington Poe. There is a killer on the loose who is burning his victims alive, and the first victim has Washington Poe's name carved into his chest. So that just sparks a whole wild investigation into who the victims are, who the killer is, why is Washington Poe's name carved into the chest, like what relevance does he have? I just absolutely loved how graphic and gory it is. I loved one of the characters in it called Tilly, she kind of gave me like Strange Sally Diamond vibes. So if you've read that book, you'll know exactly what I mean. And if you haven't, then Tilly is just very straight talking, very to the point. I don't know if it's mentioned that she's neurodivergent, but it kind of hints at that. And her and Poe working together are honestly the duo like I never knew I needed in my life. I am going to try and read book 2 this month. I've literally got it on my shelf because, I just loved the way it was written. It was so easy to read. I loved the twist. Yeah, highly recommend. Next up, we have got The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. This is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited. This is a fairly short read. I think it's around 250 pages. And it's another one that follows a female psychologist who works with serial killers. So this one follows Gwen. She is an expert on serial killers and she works with some of the most depraved killers ever. One such killer is Randall Thompson, aka the Bloody Hart killer. He was convicted after his last victim escaped and identified him as being the Bloody Hart killer. But there's a new development and a spanner in the works because Randall Thompson's attorney, his son was a victim of the Bloody Hart killer, and this attorney actually thinks that Randall's innocent. So, I mean, how wild is that? I don't know if I explained that very well, but it's the attorney's son that was a victim of the Bloody Hart killer, and he thinks that the man that's been convicted has been wrongly convicted. It is full of secrets, as always. It's got so many different layers to the story. It's full of twists, and yeah, it's another one. I just absolutely loved it. Next up, we have got Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited. And I actually feel like this may be one of Jennifer Hillier's more underrated books. It's not really one I see many people talking about. It's also another one that's very, very dark. So this one follows the story of Gio, who 5 years ago discovered that her first love, her first boyfriend, ended up being a serial killer. Not ideal. He escaped from custody. He went on the run and now he is slowly, body by body, making his way back to Gio. Oh, this book is dark. It is full of suspense. It is thrilling. It's exactly what a thriller book should be. It is a cat and mouse chase that gets darker and darker as the book goes on. There are some scenes in it that made me feel really uncomfortable, so please do go into it with caution. But I read this in one sitting. I couldn't put it down, and yeah, highly recommend. Next up, I just want to give a brief mention to How to Kill Men and Get Away With It by Katie Brent. I have mentioned this book on a few of my other videos, so I don't want to go on repeating myself, but again, I couldn't do a serial killer thriller video without mentioning Kitty Collins, the absolute icon, Kitty Collins. She is a female serial killer. And these books, there's 2 books. So there's book 1, How to Kill Men and Get Away With It. And there's book 2, which is I Bet You'd Look Good in a Coffin. Both of them I highly recommend. Both of them are a little more on the light-hearted side. There's dark humour. Kitty Collins is kind of like a female Dexter. They're not just light-hearted and funny and gory and graphic. They both have messages within them and they both have something to say. So I just wanted to give a brief mention to both of those because I think most of these serial killer thriller books are men. So I needed to even out the playing field. Next up, we have got Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. This is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited and another one that, in my opinion, is extremely underrated. This is book 1 in a series. I think there's 6 books in the series. Why am I doing 3? I think there's 6 books in the series, and it follows the story of Gina, who, due to a complete freak accident, finds out that her husband has been living a secret life as a prolific serial killer. As you can imagine, all hell breaks loose, and Gina realizes that she must escape that life and create a new identity for her and her children in order to escape the absolute chaos that her husband has left behind, basically. But like I said, Gina has stalkers. She's got online trolls, and they are getting closer and closer to her new location and the new life that she has built for her and her children. And honestly, this is another one that's really dark. It's another one that gave me the most horrendous anxiety while I was reading it. Gina has actually got a panic room in her new house. I mean, if that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. But yeah, I honestly don't know why more people don't rave about this book, because I really, really enjoyed it. And I was so invested in Gina's story. It literally kicks off right at the beginning and doesn't let up until the end. So, and there's a massive cliffhanger as well. So yeah, highly recommend. Next up, we have got The Echo Man by Sam Holland. This is another one that I have mentioned on one of my previous videos, but another one that I just couldn't leave out of this video because it's got one of the worst serial killers in it. So the serial killer in this book is copying other prolific serial killers, and he is staging his crime scenes to look exactly like the original crime scenes. So you've got that storyline, and then you've also got another storyline which follows Jess, who has found herself plunged into an investigation after her husband died in a house fire that she survived in. She's gone on the run. The stories kind of intertwine. This serial killer is escalating, and he's fed up of copying everybody else's work. He's ready to create his own masterpiece. There's a massive showdown. It's dark, it's gripping. I was literally on the edge of my seat the entire time I was reading it, and yeah, I couldn't leave it out of this video. If you love a serial killer thriller, then you absolutely need to pick this book up. Next up, we have got The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchison. This is another one that's on Kindle Unlimited, and it's another one that I only gave a 3-star rating to at the time, but I do feel like maybe I was being a little bit harsh. So I'll tell you what it's about, and I'll tell you why I only gave it 3 stars. This follows the story of a serial killer called the Gardener. He has this beautiful garden, and in this garden he collects butterflies. But these butterflies aren't what you and I would consider to be butterflies. They are actually kidnapped women that he is holding captive. He has changed all their names, and he has tattooed these massive, elaborate butterfly designs on their backs. It is very dark. It's very disturbing. And this garden and the gardener they're discovered by the FBI. And one of the survivors is taken in for questioning. And the whole book is basically told through her memories of what life was like living in the garden with the gardener and all the other women. But the FBI aren't convinced that she is telling the whole truth. They think she may be hiding something. And yeah, that's basically the book. And what I will say is, despite the content and the plot, it is very beautifully written. Like the imagery, and yeah, it is so beautifully written. So why did I give it 3 stars? I gave it 3 stars because it doesn't have any chapters, and I wasn't fussed on that. It's broken up by page breaks, and I don't know, I'm just the kind of girl that just prefers a chapter personally. And I loved the majority of the book, but I thought the twist at the end was a little bit silly, and it spoilt it a bit for me. But I've put it in this video just because of how beautifully written the rest of the book was, and the serial killer element of it was so well done that I couldn't leave it out. This book also has really rave reviews, so I do think it was just a personal preference, and I would still recommend it. Next up, we have got a Frida. We have got The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. This is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited. And in my opinion, this is one of Frida's better books. I am not a huge Frida fan personally. I do feel like her books are really easy to read. I have really enjoyed The Housemaid by her, but some of the other ones, I don't know, they're just a bit, I don't know, I haven't really enjoyed them. But this one I did really enjoy. And it's about a serial killer. obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be in this video. So this follows the story of Nora, whose father was a prolific serial killer, and he carried out all his crimes in the basement of their family home whilst she was a child. Her father is locked away in prison where he belongs, but one of Nora's female patients ends up dead, and the way she's been killed is scarily similar to how her father used to kill his victims. Nora has managed to live her life so far without anybody knowing that of her secret that her father was a serial killer, but she is convinced now that somebody is trying to pin these murders on her. They know her secret, but Nora is nothing like her father. She is not a killer, but she does have some secrets in her basement. This is classic Frida McFadden. It is very easy to read. I was invested the whole way through. I was really interested. I just loved the basement element, and it actually gave me really bad anxiety while I was reading this book. Some of the scenes in it really got under my skin. I didn't see the twist come in, but then I don't think I ever see any of Frida's twists come in because they're always really out there. But I just think this is a perfect entry into the serial killer thriller genre because it's not as dark as some of the other books in this video. And last but not least, we have got Keep It in the Family by John Mars, and this is another one that's available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's another one that I only gave 3 stars to at the time, but I would still highly recommend it for this genre. It follows the story of Mia and Finn, who have bought this old derelict house that they are hoping to turn into their dream home for their little family. But when the renovation work starts, they find something absolutely horrendous in the attic, and that's basically where all hell breaks loose. They discover the house that they're living in used to be a real life murder house, and Mia's curiosity gets the better of her, as it always does, and she starts digging into the history of the house and the history of the people that used to live in the house. And the things she discovers and the secrets she unfolds are quite honestly terrifying. The opening chapter of this book was so dark, I was hooked in instantly. And again, the rest of the book is quite dark, like the content of it and the things that they find in this house are really gruesome, and I loved it so much. The whole book and the whole family in the book are completely unhinged, and I just had the best time while I was reading it. The only reason I rated it 3 stars was because I wasn't really a fan of the twist at the end. I do feel like maybe I've been a bit harsh there, but yeah, I would still recommend it overall just because of the rest of the book. Just maybe go into it with like not expecting a massive mind-blowing twist. So yeah, that is the end of my serial killer thriller recommendations video. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. And also let me know if you've got any serial killer thriller recommendations for me as well, because I'm always looking to add more of this genre to my never-ending TBR because, like I said, it's one of my absolute favourite genres to read. The darker the recommendations, the better, because I love my books a little more on the dark side. We listen and we don't judge, okay? I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you did enjoy it. Honestly, it massively helps push my content out, especially as a fairly new channel. And your support means the absolute world, and I appreciate every single one of you. I will leave it there for now, and I'll catch you all next time.